The following is an EHC media production.
Yo, alright, get my face. It is March 23rd, 2018. WrestleMania is like 2 weeks away. And, as you know, I went to Elimination Chamber. That was amazing. But as far as I knew, I wasn't going to be able to make it to WrestleMania because of a lot of issues. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of time off work. It's a lot of I'm scared to fly. It's a lot of issues. But this sounds crazy to say, but I think it might have all gotten worked out. I think I might be going to WrestleMania.
I got my fist in the air, screaming black power. I feel like Tookie Williams' last hour. We used to stand for something, but most niggas is cowards. Took rows to bars to sit down, so I'm pro-black like the pigs with the fist now. 80s, crack exists now. All these babies going crazy cause these ladies smoking daily now. So tell me, how you really gonna say the chow when it's still running through our veins as a juvenile? If something's gonna change, you better do it now. Since this makes sense, we gonna start a movement now.
We gotta be doing something great.
It's time. It's time.
Who you trying to kid?
I do not give a damn.
Because you're too scared to do the job your goddamn self.
I need someone that's like, has that, some energy in them.
You guys know nothing about me.
I'm gonna take you out.
Promo climax time. Promo climax. You're all on fucking notice.
Either you rise or you fall. Rise or you fall. Either you rise or you fall.
Hey, RWT, this is Mike Larkin. Man, oh man, Thanksgiving. What a time to be thankful. Love my family, love my friends. Just got back from Charlotte. It's been a 2-week hiatus. I took a week off, and then we left for Charlotte for Thanksgiving. Had a great time seeing the family, and just happy to be back doing this for RWT. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. And just, the whole nine. I just hope everybody's well in general. I mean, I'm kind of in a food coma. Lots of turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, cranberry sauce. Woo! I'm like the Geico commercial, for God's sake. But anyway, I digress. Welcome back to The Future Is Now. This is episode 20, taking a look back at this week's 205 Live in NXT. First and foremost, while I was away, I had a brief break for the 2 weeks where I hadn't put out an episode, and now I'm back. A lot of things did happen. Two in particular. One was the whole James Ellsworth situation. I gotta say, what a friggin' scumbag. And I think that whole thing is just wrong. It's reprehensible. You don't do that. And personally, it's going to court. And personally, I hope James Ellsworth gets what comes to him. A lot of female wrestlers and talents have been speaking out about it now since the young lady did, the 16-year-old. And with the proof coming out as well. I mean, it's a crappy situation, man. I mean, that guy, MCW, WWE, all around, he was just on Impact for Bound for Glory. That guy really he really screwed himself. And personally, I think that's horrible. It reminds me of the situation with Rude Boy Riley, who was an independent star. He was at the Performance Center. WWE gave a look at him, but he got arrested for having child pornography, which got him blackballed and not booked. So I think this is the same that we'll have with Mr. Ellsworth, that he probably won't get booked, or let's just see what happens. But all in all, it's a crummy situation. I think it's horrible, and that's really all I got to say about that. I'm just disgusted by the whole entire thing. The other thing that happened was Enzo Amore tried to hijack Survivor Series, and that female security guard who we saw try to get Gronk at WrestleMania, not knowing he was a part of the matchup to run and help Mojo Rawley win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal Trophy. Yeah, that girl don't play. He tried to hijack Survivor Series. He got taken down. Thankfully, we didn't see him try to do that at Raw. If he tried again, he'd be stupid. I mean, the Staples Center has his face. If you see this man, do not let him in. He tried to have a concert, Mr. Enzo Amore, after Raw, and about, from what the tweet said in the head count, quote-unquote verbatim on that, there are about 35 people at his show. Enzo Amore does have an album that he's releasing, Real One, as he goes by now in the rap game. He's another... All right, I'm going to say this, and then I'll move on to 205 and NXT, but I understand that the man was, that whole thing, and he was, acquitted or whatever the hell it was. Everything went away. He wrote a song about it, The Phoenix, 15 Minutes of Fame, and just, what have you with that. And it's like, wrestling fans are like, well, why doesn't WWE hire him back? I'm going to tell you right now, the situation was sticky because he should have told them that this happened. He didn't tell them. It spiraled, and yes, he may have been fine, and, he knows he's a good person, and what came of it with the girl and whatnot. I'm just saying, though, you can't have that. It's like Rich Swann with the whole thing with Sue Young, his wife, with the domestic assault case. Rich Swann really had nothing for him with 205 Live, and the whole thing was a sticky situation. WWE decided to let him go. As a publicly traded company, you can't have that. You can't have that really with any company. The whole thing with Enzo Amore probably would have gotten worse if they would have kept him, because I'll be honest with you, that guy is a dickhead. I think it was also an excuse for them to get rid of him, because, well, if they would have kept him, you would have kept getting these headaches. And I'm very glad that they got rid of him. I think the Cruiserweight division, which we're going to talk about with 205 now, I think it's better without him. Yes, he added that element of fun and just, to get people watching, because he does have a fan base. 35 people at a rap show. Wow. But I think it really shows that he's a scumbag. Another one that's a scumbag. Thank God. We talk about Impact Wrestling on Max, and we talk about the decisions or lack thereof that they make. But thank God they haven't picked him up. Any wrestling company should not pick him up. I'm glad he's moving away from wrestling and doing the rap thing, but I think that was childish and absolutely ridiculous, hijacking the show like that, because, I'm going to make a funny, and he's wearing his old merchandise if I'm doing great. But, sir, let me ask you a question. Are you? Because 35 people at your show, that's not great to me. That's just sad. That's pathetic that you had to do that. I think you're a piece of shit as well. So that is my 2 cents on both Enzo Amore and James Ellsworth and those situations that did happen over the past couple weeks. That's all I'm going to say about that. And, let's get on to the brighter side of things. Let's talk about this week's 205 Live and NXT. We're going to start off, as always, with 205 Live.
Cause
let's get into 205 Live, because we started off hot. We started off with Noam Dar and Mike Kanellis. Drake Maverick ran down the card for tonight. As he does, we're live from Minneapolis, Minnesota. We started off with Noam Dar and Mike Kanellis. These two, it was Mike Kanellis, showing off, kissing his wife and blowing kisses at him. Noam Dar saying hi in a very funny exchange. Maria Kanellis distracting him while she's on commentary talking about the power of love, and Mike Kanellis beating him down. And just, it was a very nice back and forth between these two. It was rather short, nothing memorable. I mean, uppercuts by Dar, the drop kicks, Mike Kanellis just working over Dar. It was fine for what it was. The finishing sequence comes where the Lucha House Party music plays, and Lindsay Dorado and Graham Metalik are on the stage. Kalisto kicks Mike Kanellis from behind. Noam Dar hits the Nova Roller, the running kick for the 1-2-3, and thanks to the distraction from the Lucha House Party, Noam Dar is your winner. It was fine. It was what it needed to be. It progresses more with TJP and Mike Kanellis against the Lucha House Party, so I was totally fine with it. We then go backstage to Brian Kendrick and Akira Tozawa. Tozawa tries to motivate Kendrick to be more aggressive, and Tozawa feels he has done his job because Brian Kendrick is punching, punching in his hands while he's got the gloves on. It was cool. It was a nice little sequence between the two, and it's going to probably lead to more matches with Gallagher and Drew Gulak, which I'm about to talk about now. Excuse me. So then we have Drew Gulak and Jack Gallagher. Drew Gulak says that they thought Brian Kendrick was an ally or a friend, then something changed and you became pitiful. Jack calls Kendrick useless. Drew says he could feel the same way if he saw homeless Leonardo DiCaprio every morning. Drew says he will put Kendrick out of his misery. Next week when you step to him, you will tap out. So next week we're going to get Drew McIntyre, wow. Excuse me, wrong show. Drew Gulak and the Brian Kendrick one-on-one, which I'm looking forward to that match. I would not sleep on that match. That match is going to be really, really good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. What's great about this is, Brian Kendrick and what they were doing. He's just so good. He's a ring veteran. Same with Gulak in his own right. And they're both great technicians. I wouldn't sleep on that match. I think it's going to be very, very good. So, I will move on. Wow, Drew McIntyre. And I'll be honest with you folks, it's a late night for me as well. As I'm recording this, it's the early mornings of Thursday. November 20... What the hell is today's date? November 28th. There you go. Oh no, 29th. Excuse me. Wow, I am off. November 29th. What day is it? Who am I here again? What the hell's going on? Who are you? Who am I? What's up? What's down? Up, down, all around, etc., etc., but I digress. So yeah, if I'm a little tired with this, but I wanted to get out with you, I get this out to you guys. So, yeah. Here I go, continuing on. Because these shows were not bad tonight. We finished watching NXT UK, my mom and I, and all that. That's great about the moms. I love my mom so much. Just watching wrestling, they're just chilling. It's fun. It's good times, people. Good times. Family is key. Family is important. So then after the whole Drew Gulak and Jack Gallagher and Brian Kendrick and Akira Tozawa segments, we come back and we have the return of Hideo Itami. He takes on Levi Cruz. He just hits him with a boot to the head. The whole respect me. Hits him in the midsection, a kick to the back. He drops Cruz on the top rope, kicks him again, goes up top, hits the knee to the back of the head. Hits a strike and a bit spinning back fist. The hesitation drop kick into the corner. Hits the spinning cutter. 1, 2, 3. Hideo Itami is your victor. Then he attacks him after the match. Arya Daivari, who was in the Zoe train and has been out for injury. Another great talent, the brother of Sean Daivari, a.k.a. Khosrow Daivari. You guys may remember him from WWE, being with Muhammad Hassan back in the day, and just Daivari as a wrestler. He managed the Great Khali. He managed Mark Henry. He managed a lot of people. He did some managerial work as well. He was in TNA as a former X Division champion as Sheikh Abdul Bashir. So you may remember him from TNA as well. So afterwards, Arya Daivari comes out. It looks like he's going to square off with Itami, but Daivari attacks Cruz. He tells Itami to hit Cruz, and Itami with the boot to the head. He says that he respects Itami and he offers his hands. They shake hands. So we have now a new alliance with Hideo Itami and Arya Daivari. We're backstage, and TJP tells Drake Maverick that he is the greatest technical wrestler and the first cruiserweight champion. He wants to know why he is not the next challenger. Drake says Graham Metalik beat him. TJ says that Drake's problem is on Raw. Maria, Mike, and Ellis want to finish Lucha House Party, and they want TJP to join them. TJ says he should move on to better things. Maria reminds TJP of the favor they did for him, and they are in this together. TJP says he's in. Drake Maverick says he will consider, and then he tells them to leave. Maria then says they don't want any match. She wants to embarrass them. She wants a tag team tornado match. Drake says the match will happen. They will face the Lucha House Party. next week. So next week we have Drew Gulak, not McIntyre, versus the Brian Kendrick. And we have the Tag Team Tornado match between the Lucha House Party and TJP and Mike Kanellis, which will be very, very good. Then we get to our main event, which, my God, these guys have great chemistry. Tag team or singles, go out of your way to watch this match. And just go out of your way to watch 205 in general, but really go out of your way to watch the main event. Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali take on Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy. High-flying action, working over Alexander, working over Ali. These two were great. The planches over the top. There was a spot where they kind of used Tony Nese as like a springboard, like a pad to like step on. Go for a superplex, but they both fell to the outside, and then that's where the planches ensued. It was just great from top to bottom. I really would just go out of your way to watch this. I mean, my words don't do it justice, but you have to see it to believe it. It's really good. The finishing sequence comes when Murphy hits a jumping knee. He goes for the Murphy's Law, but Ali escapes and gets a near fall with a roll-up. Ali hits the Tornado DDT. Alexander makes the tag, hits the lumbar check on Buddy Murphy for the 1-2-3. Cedric Alexander has pinned the Cruiserweight Champion Buddy Murphy, and they celebrate to go off the air. Very good match from top to bottom. Watch all 205 Live, guys, but go out of your way to watch Cedric and Mustafa against Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy. So that's my review of 205 Live. Now we're going to go into tonight's edition of NXT. Alrighty, let's get into NXT. So NXT this week, we're from San Jose, California, and what an addition to NXT. We start off with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch versus Shane Thorne, Nick Miller. Tag team greatness. These guys worked snug. They worked over each other, the body parts. This was just great tag team action between the Mighty and Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. They were knocking Burch into Orkin, Orkin into Burch. It was just great tag team maneuvers for both gentlemen. Again, it was a great way to start out the show, and I recommend anyone to go see this match as well. The finishing sequence comes where Nick Miller comes in. They send Lorcan into Burch, and Burch with a spear to Thorne takes him out. Lorcan hits a sunset flip on Miller for the 1-2-3, and your winners are Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. After the match, Miller and Thorne attack Lorcan and Burch. Thorne hits the Northern Lariat to Burch, and then Lorcan tries to fight them off, but they send Lorcan shoulder first into the ring post, and they do it a second time. And there's your new feud, Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan against the Mighty. We look back at EC3's victory over Adam Cole last month, and the post-match beatdown by the rest of the Undisputed Era. We get comments from Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai. Kairi's asked about whether she has her shoulder up during the last fall in the 2 out of 3 falls match. Kairi says the referee's call is final, but she's not done with Shayna. Dakota says everyone knows her history with Shayna, and she does not like her. She will not let Jessamine and Marina get involved, and Io says she's here to help her best friend. They want all three. That's going to be an interesting dynamic going forward. Second matchup is EC3 versus Marcel Barthol, who we will be seeing on NXT UK. He's a great talent. I mean, this kid got a lot of great shots in, working over EC3, hits the Inseguri, hits an air raid crash, which is like a kryptonite crunch. Think of Finley's Celtic Cross, Sheamus's White Noise, Kazarian. Frank Kazarian's done that move. A lot of people have done that move. I mean, he looked very impressive. He does the Nye, which is what he does because of German. I mean, they really went back and forth here. The finishing sequence comes where Barthel has him in an armbar and a chin lock. EC3 sends him into turnbuckles, hits punches and jabs, the back elbow and a slam, does the 1%er elbow, then he hits Barthel with the 1%er, the TKO, for the 1-2-3, and EC3 is your victor. After the match, EC3 has something to say. He says you tried to take him out, but the problem was that you didn't finish the job. Undisputed Era, that does not concern you. He's talking to Bobby Fish. This is not about an eye for an eye or a knee for a knee. He's coming for the entire body. EC3 says he's driven and he is the top 1% in this industry. Great promo from EC3. I love it. I mean, I've watched this guy since Derek Bateman, EC3 in Impact Wrestling, TNA, whatever you would like to call it. And just back to NXT. I think the guy just oozes charisma and he's a great in-ring talent. Then we get Keith Lee getting ready for his match against Lars Sullivan. We get a video package for Dijakovic, the former Donovan Dijak. Looks great. Punching the punching bag. Just the dude is just a beast. If you've not seen Donovan Dijak's work, look at his work in Ring of Honor, being managed by Stokely Hathaway. Not Stokely Hathaway. I'm sorry. Prince Nana. Where does Stokely Hathaway come from? Oh, that's why, because he feuded with Moose in Ring of Honor as well, and Moose was managed by Stokely Hathaway. My apologies. His work as being managed by Prince Nana and just his overall work, his finishing maneuver, the Feast Your Eyes, which is like a reverse go to sleep. The guy's an amazing athlete. I remember when 2016, him and Moose were both on the market. Moose went to TNA as it was at the time, Impact Wrestling, and Donovan Dijak's here in the WWE on NXT. I mean, be on the lookout for Donovan Dijakovic. The guy's an amazing talent, and again, feast your eyes, as apropos as it is, because the guy is big, he's very agile, great worker. I'm looking forward to seeing his debut. So after that promo vid, we're back. We see Candice LeRae at the Performance Center, and she's asked about the change in her attitude, but she does not answer any questions. She just walks right into the Performance Center. We get Mia Yim, after her loss to Bianca Belair, takes on Vanessa Bourne, who we've seen many a times and in the Mae Young Classic as well. This was fine, just her working over Mia Yim, a rake in the eyes, the forearms, the head scissors in the corners, the spinning suplex, which is beautifully done by Vanessa Bourne, the chinlock working down Mia Yim. It was good. I mean, Mia comes back with the cross arm breaker. They go back and forth again. Mia puts her in the tarantula. Mia hits the roundhouse kick and the boot to the chest and the drop kick. Hits a running drop kick again. Then she hits the Yakuza kick, followed by the soul food as the eat defeat, because it's Gail Kim's maneuver for the 1-2-3. Mia Yim gets the victory over Vanessa Bourne. It was fine. It showcased Vanessa Bourne. It showcased Mia Yim. I thought it was well done. Then we see Hanson Raymond Rowe in the trainer's room at the Performance Center, healing from their match from War Games. Lars Sullivan's in the back getting ready. Then Tommaso Ciampa comes in. He promotes does a nice little promo. He says, before he left, he told you that when he returned to NXT, he'd be the most dangerous SOB in this company's history. All he needed was one opportunity to win the title. He told you that he's the greatest sports entertainer of all time. Next week, when the champ's music hits and when Goldie and I hit the ring, he expects the WWE Universe to do one thing, follow his lead. So we are going to get Tommaso Ciampa live next week. It's going to be a great addition. I'm looking forward to seeing what we got going next week with NXT, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we got next week at 205 Live, as I'll reiterate at the end of the show here. We're at the main event of NXT. We got Keith Lee, we got Lars Sullivan. Whew, two powerhouses, the cross bodies, the diving headbutt from Lars Sullivan, cross body from Keith Lee, the shoulder tackles trying to knock each other down. I mean, the cross face and chinlock by Lars, the forearms. I mean, what can I say about this? These two just went at it. The splash from Lars Sullivan. The charge in the corners, the punches, the rolling punches. The slingshot crossbody by Keith Lee. The pounds by Keith Lee, channeling his inner Monty Brown. Okay. My God. The corkscrew plancha, the corkscrew pescado, whatever you want to call it, that Keith Lee did to Lars Sullivan was impressive. My God. For a man his size, and I've seen him and Shane Taylor in Ring of Honor against the War Machine, as we know now them as the War Raiders. These guys can move. They're big men, but they're very agile. My God, what a beautiful maneuver. They go back into the ring. Keith Lee gets a near fall off of that maneuver. He goes for the moonsault. Keith Lee does. Then Lars Sullivan rolls out of the way, hits the freak accident. Lars Sullivan gives Keith Lee his first loss in NXT. Lars Sullivan is your victor, and that's the end of the show. Go out of your way with 205 Live. Watch the whole show, but really go out of your way to watch the main event tag between Cedric and Mustafa against Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy. And as far as NXT goes, everything was really, really good. But go out of your way to watch Well, EC3 and Marcel had a great match, and Mia and Yim also had a great match. Those two are very solid, but really go out of your way to watch Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan against the Mighty, and really go out of your way to watch the Battle of the Goliaths between Lars Sullivan and Keith Lee in the main event. Awesome stuff this week from both shows, respectively. So I'll be back next week to talk NXT. Tommaso Ciampa in the house, and we're going to see more developments. And 205 Live, we got Drew Gulak versus the Brian Kendrick, and we got the Tag Team Tornado match with TJP and Mike Kanellis against Lucha House Party. So I'll be back next week, episode 21 for The Future Is Now. Check me out at SM Show 1 or at MCL92 on Twitter, Larkin_92 on Instagram, and Facebook, S&M Show Podcast and SM Network Shows, SoundCloud's MC Larkin92, and StephenMikeShow.com. Look me up. Check everybody out on RWT Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, the group RWT, and YouTube. Check out The Future Is Now. Check out War on Raw with Amir. Check out The Cutting Room. Check out Mike Ibiza with as NXT UK reviews. Check out Smart Mark Radio and Moses Marquez. Check out Moni Limit, the Wrestling Nerd Chick podcast. Just check out all the great content from RWG. Check out the Max Wrestling podcast with yours truly, Dazzy Dangerously, The Butcher. Amir, you did a great job last week filling in for me, and I loved it. You did an awesome job. I know with my latest interviews, because I interviewed people in the adult industry, BBWs to be exact, Big Beautiful Women, Julie Ginger and Alexa Gray. I know the bath order will be ready for you, sir. I love you, buddy. I love you, brother. But yeah, check out everybody on in the Gorilla Position with you and Moses. Just check everybody out, man. RWT, Max Wrestling, StephenMikeShow.com. Everybody. Just check out everybody and support everybody. Much love, everybody. I'm going to say everybody. Let's get it started. All right, it's 4 a.m. It's November 29th, early morning, not 28th. I don't even know what the hell day it is. What time is it? Who am I here? What am I doing? What's my purpose? Anyway, I digress. This has been another edition of The Future Is Now. Hope you all enjoy. This has been episode 20. My ass is going to bed. And check out the latest edition of the Max Wrestling Podcast. It's out now. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. It's all over. Like the show, it's all over. I'll be back next week with episode 21 of The Future Is Now. I got a lot of shows respectively on my channel coming in. That's why I'm nicknamed the Podcast Machine. RWT Awards. Can Mike Larkin get an RWT award, please? Pretty please, with sugar on top. We got Promo Climax coming back. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a great time for podcasting over RWT, Max Wrestling, respectively, and all shows and all content providers, baby. So, I digress. I'm going to bed. Everyone have a great night. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. And stay tuned for more. God bless, and I'll talk to you soon.